Hey, co-reporters, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're enjoying all of the Love is Blind videos I've been doing today. This is the last one I'm doing today. I'll pick back up tomorrow because I do have to go ahead and wash my hair and my laundry, and that's going to take a couple hours. So sorry, I know I'm missing one episode, but I will do that tomorrow. So let's get into episode 4. The big thing about this episode was Jackie and the meltdown that she had at the Mexican honeymoon. I actually went back and rewatched it explicitly for this recap. And it turns out the first time I watched it, I didn't understand. I thought she was upset because she missed her family. But no, it seems like she's actually terrified of her family. And I do want to go over that with you to see what could be going on over there, because it really is quite concerning, to say the least. So at the top of the episode, I get the vibe that Jackie might leave Marshall because he represents everything that she wants to have in life, like stability, kind of like a higher social presence. She says, listen, you could see it in this guy, and it is true. Like, he very obviously is very classy, like you could tell, you know. And then with Jackie, although she is a beautiful woman, she's very rough around the edges. I would not assume that she grew up in Beverly Hills or Bel Air the way that I would assume with Marshall, right? And so she wants that, but she's scared of that. And she's used to the more quote unquote kind of like hood guys, roughneck guys. So I do worry that like she will feel overly intimidated by Marshall and what he's got going on. And again, we're going to get into the meltdown later, but I do think that that contributes to it as well. So at this point, Marshall asks her if she wants to wait until after the altar for intimacy. And she's like, no, are you kidding me? I like to test drive a car before I go ahead and buy it. And I'm like, you know what? Good for him for asking, and good for her for responding, and like, you know, kind of breaking the ice with a little bit of a joke about it. You know, I agree with the two of them. You know, whatever works for you works for you. Now, guess what else we find out? It's very, very obvious at this point that Irina is not at all attracted to her fiance Zach. Like, their scenes are truly painful. He keeps trying to like get like some, you know, physical touch out of her, and she just does not want it with him at all, and that really sucks. And then she also says that she doesn't want to sleep with him before the marriage as well. I'm sorry, but I think if she were attracted to him, she would want to. But I digress. I am simply speculating there. There are no facts to back me up. Just a little bit of me, you know, hunching. Now, Tiffany and Brett, you guys, they seem to be even more in love when in the villa, right? I have super, super duper high hopes for them. And I thought it was really sweet of him to gift like his future fiance a bathing suit. And I thought it was really sweet that it was not a 2-piece bathing suit because, you know, listen, sometimes the stomach be stomaching. And so I would feel a lot of pressure if a guy like got me a bikini. It's like, you know, I might be thin, but I got a pot belly nonetheless. So I would prefer a 1-piece. So I love that, you know, and it wasn't in a size extra small. I don't know if this happens to you girls, but I find that guys usually gift me things in like a size small, you know, like t-shirts and things. So I'm like, you don't notice my pot belly? Like, come on now, like get me something in like a medium or whatever, you know? So I thought that was really nice that he got like, you know, a pretty decent size. He didn't imagine or expect her to be a 00, and he didn't like go, oh, let me get her the skimpiest like bikini I can find with a G-string up the butt. So that was awesome. You know, something that did kind of surprise me, because I did tell you in my episode 3 recap that I didn't feel the chemistry between Micah and Paul, but they seem to be getting along, right? Like in the villa. So we'll see how that kind of rolls out. One thing I did notice too that kind of like threw me off was Irina. On her first night in the villa with her arch nemesis Zachary, she goes to bed with a full face of makeup. And I'm like, I get it. If you come home like super duper drunk, right? And you just cannot, right? You know what I do? I put down like a cardigan over my pillowcase on nights like that, and then just go to bed because I can't. But like, you know, just to go to bed like that, I don't know. She did mention she had some insecurities around her skin and whatnot. So I guess she kind of wanted like to ease her way into that, but it's really not the greatest for your skin, but I digress. So remember how I told you that Tiff and Brett seem to have a lot of chemistry? Well, at a certain point, Miss Tiffany gets on top of this man and straddles him, and he starts grabbing her booty cheeks with both hands, a whole handful, but he didn't have enough hand for all that booty, right? And I thought it was so cute. She's like, I didn't want to hype it up. And he was like, oh, Lord, that was cute, but it was a bit much for me. Again, these are things that I would not be able to do on television. It's like, oh my God, this is like cemented in history forever for everybody who knows you. and who will know you in the future to watch. Like I felt like I watched them banging, and that was a bit excessive in my opinion. Now, speaking of banging, Paul and Micah did not bang on the first night. Did that surprise anyone? To me, no, because again, I did not see the chemistry jump your bone level or anything like that. It seems like they are kind of like easing their way into it, if it even exists between the two of them. Because typical on the show, like these people, there just feel so much passion and excitement. Like, you know, for example, here, that they just like are ready to go. And I know that these two banged as well. And then we know that these two were, you know, banging like screen doors in a hurricane. So, you know, that was definitely something up there. So let's get back to Jackie, right? At a certain point, she decides to warn her fiance, Marshall, that she's basically an F girl and she's afraid of doing him dirty the way that she does with other men. Listen, I will say this, Jackie. Kudos to you for being self aware enough to notice that you were a saboteur in your relationship, and that you push good people away. I think that that is the first step towards healing and trying to figure out, you know, um, how to improve yourself. Marshall claims that he won't walk away, which to me is like, on the one hand, that's nice. But on the other hand, Marshall, you got to be careful because some people are damaged beyond repair and you are not a therapist, right? It's not your job to repair broken people who bring you down. So be careful. I know you're a good guy. I know you want love. I know you want marriage. And I know you want all these great things, but be careful. I'm not saying that Jackie's not worth it. I don't know Jackie. I've seen her for 4 episodes now, right? But I'm just saying you shouldn't have that attitude kind of walking into like every new relationship, because at this point you've known her for a week and you're like, you can go ahead and put me through the ringer. I'll put up with it. Sorry, but no. Someone has to earn your loyalty. And again, even then, your loyalty should only go so far, in my opinion, depending on the way that the other person is treating you. So, speaking of treating people a certain way, let's get to Irina. She is super duper irritated with Zach because he won't stop singing. Who is asking this man to walk around singing? But that's your fault, Irina. You accepted this man singing like that in the pods in his proposal to you. You should have known, right? Like, what the heck? And then the body language between them is just so terrible. So much space, so much distance. He'll try to hug her and stuff, and she will like physically recoil because she is heavily repulsed by this man. And again, I do want to clarify, because a lot of people think it's always just physical. Sometimes people are good looking, but your body is just so repulsed by them. Like they want to like, you know, initiate like, you know, like putting a hand on your lap or holding hands, and you just can't. You're just so tense and you're just so put off by it. Like, you know, that has happened to me with like good looking people too. So I don't think that it's necessarily because Irina says he thinks he's unattractive. I know she recently did an interview with E! Or Entertainment Tonight, something like that. No, it was Extra. I'm sorry, with Rachel Lindsay. And she was like, no, it's not that I found him physically unattractive. It's just that I was not attracted to a lot of things about him. And again, remember his like cold stare? I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. Now, let's get into the Jackie situation again, right? So now we're really going to dig into it. So she and Marshall just had a really wonderful day in Mexico. And then we cut directly to them back in their hotel room. It was almost reminiscent of Danielle from season 2. Remember that meltdown she had because she couldn't go out? She had like some kind of a stomach bug. And so she was just creeping on everybody from the balcony. She didn't like that her fiance or whatever was talking to someone else. Yeah, she that just like sent her into overdrive or whatever. Like that was a big deal. But anyway, no, Jackie's was actually much worse than that. Like that, Jackie, her meltdown broke my heart, you guys, because she's terrified that Marshall won't accept her family. And I start wondering, well, what's the deal with your family, Jackie, that this is causing you so much grief, you know? Like she talked about the family, the parents being quite strict and whatnot, but I wonder what else it could be that would cause this much of a reaction for her. At first, I thought it was that she missed her family. But no, when I rewatched it, she was scared that Marshall would not accept her family. And then she was triggered because on their honeymoon, they're in paradise, right? It's beautiful, all you can eat, all you can drink. Like, you don't have to worry about money, family, like work, nothing. And she's like, you know, all this paradise, this is temporary. I got to go back to that SHIT. And I'm like, wow, like to describe your family and work and stuff like that, like it means that there's a lot of pain coming from it. You know what I mean? And she just kept on repeating that. She's like, life is not like, like this. This is temporary. This is temporary. Like, life is so hard for me, basically. And it was a lot. You start wondering what it is that she has to go through when she's at home. I'm like, is her family abusive towards her? Is she scared of what Marshall thinks of them, or is she scared of them in general and how they're going to treat her on this show? Does she think they're going to humiliate her? What is it? And then she starts talking about how she has to take care of so many people. And I'm like, but Jackie, you're only 26 years old and you're a dental hygienist living in New York. Why? Why would you have to take care of all these people? You don't have kids. Why do you have to take care of people? And then I go, oh, wow, there it is, financial abuse. There it is. Right. And this unfortunately happens. I don't know if this happens a lot in like white families, but in a lot of like families of color, like African, Caribbean, Asian, Arab, there's like this expectation that like family members have for you to like help out your parents or help out your siblings or help out your this or your that, your long lost uncle or aunt. Like, I'm like, is that what they're putting on this poor girl's back? And again, she's only 26 years old. Her life is just starting. She's a dental assistant. So it's not like she's rolling in bank, and she's living in New York. She doesn't have the money to be taking care of all these people. And I'm like, oh God, this poor girl, she truly has the world on her shoulders. And I am quite nervous for her. Maybe she thinks that her family, when they see Marshall, it's obvious. Marshall, you look like you got that coin, boo. You got some money in your eyes. That twinkle, that's cash. So maybe she's worried that her family is going to try to like mooch off of her husband too, if she marries him, right? Her fiance, I should say. And that will make him leave her. Or maybe they're just uncouth. But the way she talks about, oh, I have to go back to that SHIT. It seems like there's abuse going on there in some way. And she did say that her family was very harsh with her. I'm like, do they call her mean things? I don't know. We're going to see something, but definitely keep an open mind and an open heart for Jacquelina. The first time that I watched it, I was under the impression that she just like was crying because she missed her family and friends after a week like that. I was like, oh God, this sounds exhausting. But no, upon rewatching it, she seems scared of them. She seems scared. So we'll see how that goes. God, back to Irina. I can't wait for this girl to go away. I'm sorry, y'all, but oh my God. So her primary love language allegedly is physical touch, which you would never know, right? In the situation with Zach there. But Zach seems to repulse her. So obviously you're not going to see it. And again, Irina, you have to listen to your instincts. If you can't bring yourself to even touch this man with your pinky finger or your pinky toe, he is not the man for you. And Zach actually even calls her out for constantly like pushing him away and rejecting him and making like mean jokes at his expense, and how she was very like verbally affectionate with him in the pods but not in real life. I'm like, this poor guy, like he really is going through like a shock. It is a shock, right? When you meet someone one way and then all of a sudden they become a different person. Like obviously we have not participated in Love is Blind, but we've participated in the dating process, and we know how like that 2-3 month mark goes, and the shock that can come with that. So I definitely do feel for him in that regard. He already let his walls down. He talked about all of his trauma, all of his pain, and this is what he is met with at this point. And so he's like, you know what, Irina, I feel like you've already decided that you're just going to say no at the altar. And I also feel like you're controlling and you're withholding your affection to control this relationship. And you know what this man does? He just stares at her like that. And I'm like, well, why don't we work on the staring situation a little bit? If you're trying to like appeal to this woman, because again, it's very unattractive, and I would not be able to I don't know, to pop open the waterworks, the waterfall for that. I can't. Okay. So let's get to Chelsea and Kwame. Chelsea tells Kwame that he is all she's ever wanted. Girl, what has Kwame done for you to think that he is everything you've ever wanted? Because that man, he already chose another woman over you. So what exactly do you mean that this is everything you've ever wanted? You've always wanted to be someone's second choice? Because no, absolutely not. You are weak in the knees. Stand up. So guess what happens when she tells that to this guy? Just like when she told him she was ready for him to propose, he laughs. He doesn't repeat it. He laughs. And then he's like, that's beautiful. And then she's like, you're not about to play me on camera. Let me repeat myself. Kwame, you're everything I've ever wanted. And she's looking at him. And he's looking at her. And she's looking at him. And he's looking at her. And then he goes, oh, God, fine, I'll say it. This is so embarrassing. And then he claims that he feels the exact same way, which you know is not true because he just laughed in her face. The same way he laughed in her face when she said that she wanted to be engaged to him. Chelsea, that man is playing you like a damn fiddle. I'm sorry, but that is not it. That relationship is not it. And we need to work on figuring out what is going on within you that you think this is acceptable. Look at you. You are a bombshell. You are a fitness queen. You are so nice. Look at this smile. You are so smart. Why do you think that this is the best you can do? Anyway, at this point, the couples get to all meet each other. And so Jackie, I had to laugh when she sees Brett walk on in and she's like, oh, he kind of fine. That was a really, really funny thing. I should have downloaded that picture. I will for the next episode recap, you guys. She said it next to her fiance. I wouldn't do it personally, but I thought it was kind of funny that she did do it. And let me tell you this. Kwame, who laughs at all of Chelsea's like declarations of love, he lit up like a Christmas tree on fire when he finally saw Micah for the first time. And she obviously was attracted to him too. And then he's like, wow, you guys, I am wildly attracted to Micah spiritually and physically. Wow, wow, wow. And he is just gagging over that girl. And I'm like, Chelsea, you better dump this man at some point. Dump him, and run in the other direction. Now, remember how it kind of seemed like Tiffany and Brett like had sex, made love or something when she was like on top of him and he was getting the handfuls of her booty? Apparently they didn't because she was on her period. I'm like, girl, a period don't stop nothing but a sentence. Oop. Did I say that? And she said that apparently all she was doing was slobbing the knob. I'm like, girl, absolutely not. You think that? No, that is not an idea of a nice, fun first night. You're just up there slobbing the knob for nothing. Girl, what was that? I'm sorry, but absolutely not. No. You got to start a little bit stronger than that. I'm talking, you got to see if that knob is even worth anything first, right? Before you be slobbing on it. Jeez. So now at this point, Micah pulls Kwame to the side to tell him that she's having a hard time physically connecting to Paul, but with Kwame, that attraction was instant. That's weird. That's suspicious. And then she says that she cares about him and that she still thinks about him. And he is laughing and smiling so much. He is so obviously in love with her, y'all. I have never seen him like that with Chelsea. With Chelsea, whenever she makes declarations, he's laughing like in an uncomfortable way. Like, but with Micah, being like, oh, I'm attracted to you and stuff, he's like, really? You know, like he is so freaking excited about it, man. He is obsessed with her. And I love that she told him that Chelsea is a genuinely good and loving person. And like, you know, like she, you know, just whatever. But I'm like, okay, so you recognize that this is a good person, but here you are effing her over by putting the feelers out for her man behind her back. I don't get it. You know what else I don't get, you guys? Why Zach keeps on trying to kiss Irina. Irina has already told you she does not want to kiss you on the mouth. She barely lets you kiss her on the cheek. So why do you keep trying to kiss her? It's just weird. And it's just making it worse. And she screams bloody murder every time that he does it. And it's just so embarrassing for the both of them. Like, absolutely weird. A relationship can only handle so much rejection, right? So this is not good. This is not good at all. Irina tells her partner in crime. Remember, these two are the demonic duo, the mean girls of the Love is Blind season, that Zach touching her gives her the major ick. Oof. Not nice. Micah tells her that Paul wasn't her type when she first saw him. And I told you guys, I knew it. I said, look at this body language. This is, so that's what you look like. It's not, you know, an excitement, a love or anything like that. It's a little disappointed, right? So yeah, Micah, you effed up telling Irina that you were not that attracted to Paul, because guess what? Irina's attracted to Paul. And Irina, she's going to make a move on your man. We'll see how that plays out. Let's go back to Kwame. Oh God, I hate talking about this guy. You know, Kwame, Irina, and Micah to me, I just, every time I have to talk about them, oh my God. So he tells Brett that it's hard seeing Micah and holding her, knowing that they're not getting married. Well, first of all, sir, why are you holding her? And shouldn't you be so over the moon with your second choice that you're not even thinking about this other chick? Red flags galore. So Chelsea, she starts kind of like, flirting with her man, talking about, Kwame, can you go get me some food? And so these two decide to make fun of her. And then they go, Kwame, can you get us some tequila? So Kwame, when it comes to Chelsea, and it took everything in his will and strength to agree to do something nice for her. He goes, all right, baby, I will get you a plate. But then with these two, when they ask, he goes, yeah, why don't you go ahead and get it yourself? He's trying, y'all, but let's see how that rolls out. They get out of the pool at this point, right? Frickin' frack. And Micah starts hugging him and bringing him the shots. And I'm like, Micah, why are you putting the pause on that, man? You got a fiance and he's got a fiance. Very weird. And so she goes, let's take a shot for a failed proposal. And Kwame walks away. He has a fit. He's like, oh my God, how dare she? I was in love with her and I proposed. And she does this. Oh my God. I'm sorry, but he deserved it. That's what you get for simping over the next chick while you're engaged, right? He deserves that. So he pulls her aside next and he's all sad about it and apologizes. And she holds his hand. I'm like, well, now why are we getting physical here? Absolutely inappropriate. Why are we getting physical? Weird. And then she pulls him closer via his chin. Girl, why do you have your hands on another man's face, bringing his face closer to you? And you're both engaged to other people. Absolutely trifling. They start talking about falling in love with each other in the pods and everything. Again, inappropriate. In the past, let it go. And so at this point, Kwame, I'm telling you, he's a kid in a candy shop. He's got his hand in this on his face, and he's like, you fell in love with me? And then he even did the thing, like how, when you have like your hair here, that man, his hair is all up here, but he even did the thing with like an imaginary, and I'm like, oh Lord, jeez. So at this point, Chelsea, she sees the conversation. She's uncomfortable. She talks to the other girls, right? She's talking to Tiffany and she is talking to Jackie, who's quite fake. We're going to get into that episode 5 recap, but she tells them that she is just, wow, like it's so disrespectful that they're having a 20-minute conversation. It's like, all right, girl, well, what are you doing letting them have a 20-minute conversation? Go over there and interject. That's your man. Are you kidding me? You think my man can have a 20-minute conversation with someone else? Absolutely not. Someone that like, especially someone that like is flirting with them, putting their hands in his hands, face to face, and he had attempted to propose to her. Absolutely not. No. And so at this point, Kwame starts playing with Micah's hand in return. He's spinning around Micah's engagement ring. And then Micah tells him, no matter what happens, I'll be there. Girl, please. Please. These two are so trifling. And so, again, he's spinning around her ring and he's licking his lips. You'll be there. Like, oh my God, your fiancés are right there, you guys. What is happening? And then guess what Micah does? She tells Kwame that she loves him. And then, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote that. And so he starts giggling. He's like, it's not the laughing off like when Chelsea makes declarations. With Chelsea, it's yeah. With Micah, it's wisping away imaginary hair. Like, oh my God, Jesus. Oh my God, I was stunned. So Chelsea, here's where you effed up again. First of all, you effed up accepting that second choice proposal, but then you let them have that conversation and you storm off to the beach. Girl, why are you storming off to the beach? Storm off to the bee who's talking to your man. What is storming off to the beach going to do? He's still out there spinning around her engagement ring, giggling like a little schoolgirl while you're off getting sand in between your toes. What's that going to do for anybody? Oh my God. I was like, what, how old are we? How old is Chelsea, by the way? Like, what was that? Grow up. weaken the knees, stand up, you know? Oh my God. What a trifling episode, you guys. So I have to figure out how to title it. I don't know if I'm going to lead with the Jessica thing or the cheating thing with Kwame and Micah. We'll see. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about all this. What do you think is going to go down between this love triangle, Micah and Paul and Kwame? Where is that going to end up? Don't forget, Irina seems to have a crush on her best friend's man. Let's see how that goes. Chelsea, are you going to accept being an option to a man who very obviously doesn't like you? And Jackie, what is going on with her family that has her hyperventilating at the thought of going back to them? Why is she at 26 years old taking care of all these people? Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.